Good afternoon, I'm Riza Diaz and this is One News Now. One lawmaker criticizes the Agriculture Department's choice to use biofertilizers. Pangasinan Congressman Mark Cojuangco noted that biofertilizers are much more expensive while their quality and effectiveness are yet to be proven. He also fears that the alternative fertilizer could affect the harvest of farmers. Cojuangco cited the experience of Sri Lanka, whose economy supposedly collapsed due to biofertilizer use.
Talagang naghirap yung tao, nagmahal ang pagkain, bagsak yung production ng bigas, bagsak po nung ginawa po nila yan. So, wag padalos-dalos, no? Pag-aralan mabuti lahat yan kasi ang pinaka-reliable at proven na nagpapataas ng ani ay ang chemical fertilizer sa buong mundo po.
Meanwhile, Senator Amy Marcos is urging the government to just let the farmers decide which fertilizer they want. In a statement, Marcos said biofertilizers could put harvest and potential income of farmers at risk. The presidential sister added that the biofertilizers need further testing to see if they are really better than what's being used now. She added that the government should just continue giving farmers fertilizer subsidies. Senator Marcos says she will only agree to the use of biofertilizers if they could result in yields of palay at a farm gate price of 22 pesos a kilo. Now, still on Senator Amy Marcos, she lashed out at the Bureau of Corrections today after it did not deliver on its promise. The presidential sister was a guest at the Correctional Institute for Women in Mandaluyong, where she was supposed to witness the release of over 500 women inmates. Senator Marcos later found out that only 22 prisoners were up for the release from the CIW.
Chairman, hindi ba natin mapapaspasan yung proseso? Antok na antok pa po ako galing akong Ilocos na hating gabi. Ang sabi sa akin, 500 ang papalaya. Pagdating ko dito, 22. Maiyak-iyak ako talagang nagpursigi kami na pumunta rito Kakarampot naman pala.
Now, after this incident, the program continued and Senator Marcos distributed certificates to the newly released inmates. Bucor Chief Gregorio Catapang Jr. apologized to the senator for the misunderstanding.
Sabi nga, iisa man lang ang makalaya, tuwang-tuwa na ang langit. Ganun pa man, mas lalong tutuwa ang langit kapag dumami ang makalaya.
Yun nga po, nagpapaumanhin po ako sa ating mahal na senador kasi bumiyahe pa po siya kanina madaling araw. Para lang umattend dito, kukonti na po na release. So, sabi ko nga po kay sa senador, babawi po ako.
We're pausing for a short break. When news, we'll be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Foreign Affairs Department insists that it did not violate its labor agreement with Kuwait. This supposed violation was cited as the reason for Kuwait's decision to halt the issuance of new entry visas to Filipinos. DFA Assistant Secretary Paul Cortez explained that the government is only implementing its own laws, particularly the Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipino Act of 1995. Under this, Philippine embassies can put up welfare and assistance centers in foreign locations, including Kuwait, where there are lots of Filipinos.
Kailangan natin magtayo ng shelter para sa mga kababayan natin eh. So we could not have agreed to a provision that will allow us not to establish a shelter para sa mga kababayan natin because that's our law. And syempre, pag nag-agreement tayo with another country, lagi natin tinutuhog yan with our domestic legislation. So kung taliwas yan sa ating batas dito, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-agree internationally.
Meanwhile, the Manila Economic and Cultural Office assures that Filipinos in Taiwan are safe despite tensions with China. MECO Chairman Silvestre Bello III says the Taiwanese government is ready to protect Filipinos in the country or in the territory. MECO is also optimistic that the Philippines won't lose its visa-free privileges in Taiwan in case tensions escalate over at the Taiwan Strait.
We were informed na there might be some policy changes, pero hanggang ngayon wala pa naman. And I'm still confident na yung ating visa-free privilege will not be discarded. Kasi kailangan nilang mga Pilipino eh.
Moving on to the weather, Pagasa says the onset of the rainy season could be near. The State Weather Bureau notes an increase in rainy days across the country during the past few days. Right now, the agency is waiting for the wind direction to change, which is supposed to come from the southwest. When this happens, Pagasa can declare the start of the rainy season, which could come in latter part of the month or within the first 2 weeks of June.
Signs lang po to na medyo papalapit na po siya since sunod-sunod din po yung araw na may mga pag-ulan tayo. Pero with regards po sa mismong onset ng rainy season, meron po kasi tayo sinusundan na criteria at the very least for 3 consecutive days and then for 5 days po dapat makatotal sila ng 25 millimeters.
Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. Oil companies will implement hikes in pump prices starting tomorrow, May 16. Diesel will be more expensive by 1 peso and 40 centavos per liter, while gasoline prices will go up by 35 centavos a liter. Kerosene will also see a per liter increase of 1 peso and 20 centavos. Government employees will be receiving their mid-year bonus starting today, May 15. The Budget Department says the bonus is equivalent to a month's salary. Employees who will get extra pay are those who have satisfactory performance ratings and have worked for the government for at least 4 months since July 2022. The Philippine Competition Commission slaps Grab Philippines with a fresh 9 million peso fine. This is for Grab's failure to fully refund its customers more than 3 years since the PCC ordered the ride-hailing app to do so. The initial fines were due to Grab's several violations since becoming the country's loan operator in 2018. People are turning to social media for comfort. That's according to Google Trends. Loneliness is at an all-time high that in the United States, some experts are even calling it an epidemic. The details in this Bloomberg report.
Searches for how to make friends and how to meet people have reached all-time highs. That's according to a recent Google Trends search report. But the loneliness crisis is not limited to our search bars. The US Surgeon General recently released a report saying that the problems of loneliness and isolation in the US have reached epidemic proportions. Studies show that the loneliness crisis has been worsening even before the pandemic, which forced us inside to avoid infection. And loneliness can be associated with problems with our physical health, elevated risk of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, dementia in older adults, and even premature death. Besides indicating how lonely we feel, these search trends also show that we're looking to meet new people out in the world. Think of social infrastructure as potential points of connection, like libraries, parks, and public squares. Because however many friends we have on social media, what we're really looking for is that physical connection.
One News Now will be back with the latest stories at 6:30 p.m. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.